Hey, my friends, welcome, 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 welcome. I am glad that you are here. This is your Divine Daily Blast. All right, my friends, I am going to jump off with our angel numerology number, which is a 7 today. Basically, you're on the right path. However, I give this number 7 a word called focused. We must be focused. There is many opportunities like arrows coming across our ethereal vision, pointing in all kinds of different directions. And it might seem at this time of year, if you're celebrating any kind of holiday, that distractions are pulling you away from focus, focusing on anything. Now, let me be clear. If your focus is all over the place and there is nowhere for it to land, then get quiet and you focus on centering yourself. More importantly than centering yourself, grounding yourself. The number 7 day works with the 7 of cups, the sun, and the chariot. So energies can tend to be amplified. Bring in the energies of Archangel Metatron and Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael to point any daggers, any unwanted negativity, any unnecessarily ego-driven energies away from you. You can make a simple declaration. The one I like that came from Kyle Gray's Divine, Ancient Wisdom, Divine Masters, something like that, in one of his books. And he says, I am the keeper of my mind and my body. And wherever love is present, fear is a stranger. And so that's enough to ground the energy. You can also add, I am the keeper of my mind, my heart, and my body. The keeper of my mind, my spirit, my heart, my body. Anything you want to be the keeper of. But the main focus is acknowledging that love is present within you. And fear, which is the confusion, the arrows, the daggers that are pointing all over the place, is a stranger, doesn't resonate. I hope that makes sense. So, your spiritual desires and your plans are correct. They're beneficial. Your priorities are right in order, and it's where good life choices get made from. Particularly if you're looking at material things that you might want to buy, invest in. They'll serve you well. However, you must be focused on those things. This is a day to be charming. This is a day to put on your inquiry hat, your scientific hat, your probing hat, and perhaps be in a meditative mood, focused, introverted. That's one way of looking at today. But bottom line, on a number 7, Angel Numerology Day, divine magic is afoot, and the doors of opportunity are favored to open for you. With that being said, here are my isms. I am choosing to trust the process of life and welcome new opportunities with open arms. This comes from our friend Joanna Pantases. So I put JP at the bottom. I thought there was a message on the back. Now, from theworthybook.com, which is my now new favorite book. I face challenges today boldly. I face challenges boldly. Today and every day I face them. Yep, I do it. I'm going to do it. Yep, no worries. It's all good. Think of it as a spiritual hurdle. I'm going to hop on over it. No worries. Here's another one. I am unlimited in all ways and all things. Oh, yes, you are. Here's another one. I am the bridge between earth and heaven. These are things you can focus on if you don't necessarily have a particular or specific focus. Now let's see on this number 7 day what the angel affirmation is, or angel, yeah. This comes from Archangel Azrael. Call upon me, whom God helps, for support in rising from the ashes of your past. Be stronger than ever before. And it says, my past pain does not define me. I move forward with grace and peace. So, what does that even mean? Your past pain. The ending of a year can have us focusing on what we no longer want, what we no longer need, what we're going to get rid of, blah, 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 blah. Focusing on the things that don't work. However, don't let it define what goes into 2025. If there are people that no longer serve you, you don't have to have this big dramatic, I'm done with you. That would be a little crazy and unkind, because you might not be. If you've got a job that you've been complaining about, there's no need to go to your boss and say, well, listen, this is my last day. Although I've heard stories from folks that have declared that whatever time of the day, whatever, and if that's what your focus is, that the 31st of December will be the last day that you do whatever. And I'm going to imagine there may be a number of folks who are part of the fiscal year program in corporations who may be retiring today, this month. There's a lot of stuff coming up. Move forward with grace. Move forward with peace. And let Archangel Azrael hold your hand through it. The Master Jesus is here. He's talking about being in the act of service. And he says that when you serve others, the universe serves you. And it's not that we have to serve from an empty vessel. The Master Jesus basically comes in and says, listen, I'm teaching you, you teach others. I'll keep teaching you if you keep teaching others. That's exactly what he did with Mary Magdalene. Made her a prophet. Go out there, tell people how it is. Continue telling the world how to be, how to live a life of peace, a life of love, a life of companionship, all of these wonderful things. And then we have Archangel Haniel, and her role this week is to trust your intuition and your psychic gifts. She works with the moon energy, which some might see as the shadow energy, the energy that we're not really paying attention to in our daily lives. I ask for Gertrude and Beatrice to step forward today. Those are my two fairies. And they are still in the kingdom of dreams, is what they're calling it. They're actually at the doorway. And now I'm sort of seeing them elevated as if we're looking down upon this wonderful village, this wonderful town. It's like almost like Christmas town. There's our card. And they're basically just hanging out here. In other words, it's like a meditation. And closing your eyes. And imagine going through these big, huge doors and stepping out onto a vista that overlooks this wonderful magical town. And there are different ways to get down into the town. And they're basically saying you can choose how you travel into the town. You can choose in your mind how you travel forward in your life today. What magical experience do you want to have? And I know I've got to turn this card over and see how this plays into all of this. Wow. Divine Self. The number 2 and the color of orange. This is the second chakra, the sacral chakra. The chakra of creativity, of reproduction, of perhaps reinventing yourself. This is about intuition, balance, and connecting with spirit. Well, hello, goes with all of these. And it also speaks to Archangel Azrael's request that you rise above conflicts. You come up from the ashes of your own past and look at the blessing of strength that came from it. Once again, I'll repeat the affirmations. My past pain does not define me. I move forward with grace and peace. This reminds me of a little note I got. Let your mess become your message. Let your pain become your purpose. This is how we emerge from whatever has happened before. There are no mistakes, there are just missteps. I do want to read from the Angels and Auras. Now, this deck was a fabulous collaboration between Radley Valentine and his wonderful friend Dougal Fraser, who is a master at color, a master at aura, a master at reading people's color aura. Something that I think he was perhaps drawn to, and then later adopted and made a course of study. I intend to take that course next year. So, with this divine self with the color of orange, according to this guidebook, which I like it, when you're working with your guardian angels and the archangels, you're making a connection with your divine self. That's the part of you that remains in communication with the divine. The divine being God, the creator, and everything that is and ever will be. When you do readings for yourself, which I highly recommend, there are many folks who think that we should not read for ourselves because the ego gets in the way. Well, we are in control of our ego. You know, the mind, the body, the heart, the spirit, that's ego. And ego has a way of showing up. Now, sometimes it's a good thing, but we are in charge of whether or not this is a good experience or a bad experience. And I know for my own self, well, whatever it is the ego is showing up, it's going to invoke some kind of feeling and emotion that isn't joyful, isn't happy, isn't harmony, isn't, well, I don't like this. I don't like this feeling. And it lately has showed up in judgment. So I steer clear of the triggers that might have me going into judgment land, because, you know, judgment is also, I mean, that's not what we're supposed to do, because it kind of goes down that rickety road of comparison, where judgment comes from the place where we're not understanding or we're not accepting something about someone else, which is really none of our business. Let me go on with this. So, when you do readings for yourself and others, you're tapping into the connection of the divine. It's also a way that your angels leave messages in your subconscious that gently flow up into your consciousness. So we have to tap into that subconscious, the underlying images, messages, and to get it into the conscious. If I'm hoping I'm making sense. It's like sifting. If the conscious mind are the lumps, the subconscious mind is that light, fluffy stuff. Kind of makes sense to me. Divine guidance brings us flashes of our intuition. Orange is a color of balance and intuition. It represents your highest self, the part of you that fully trusts your perceptions. Your messages is to flow clearly, and you see the light and the love in all beings. Now, I'm going to read from Yasmin Boland's Tear Off Daily Diary to see where the moon is at. As the moon moves through the sign of Libra, relationships are highlighted. There's an amazing energy for anyone who wants to kiss and make up with someone before the year is over. That's today. That's focusing on, oh, I love all of this where it all comes together. That's focusing on not defining yourself from your past pain, not sitting in the soup of sadness, not, reinventing this wheel. When Agnes comes and complains about the same stuff she was complaining about last year. Uncle Fred doing the same thing he did last year. I'm just using these as euphemisms, you know that. You've grown, you've shifted, you've lifted, there's your focus. What am I doing this year that I did not do last year? And I'll share something personal and then I'll let you go. This time last year for me was a little tough. That's as far as I'll go with that. If I were to have last year's experience and plug it into this year's experience, no thank you. Now I have to look at how far I traveled from that point. Oh, that is amazing. That is, had that not happened, had that not been the way it was, all of this wouldn't be possible. There is how you put your focus. That bridge. Shining the light on how the misstep, the step that got missed, actually led you to the step that you're supposed to see. It's so, the divine matrix, as I like to call it, is the connectivity between there are no wrong choices. It is a way of looking through a different window. But it's very difficult for people to get when they're in the wrong choice. When they're in the soup of, oh no, not so good. It's to show you the soup of not so good. Well, what are you going to do about it? I am not going to eat any more of it. It's really true. So how do you do it? If you're in the soup of no good, how do you work away from it? How do you work beyond it? You get into spirituality. You go into that second chakra, the number 2. You cover yourself in the color of orange. You do your meditation. You do the work and you practice it, bar none. Make it one of those daily things you do that is a non-negotiable item. Meditate. Go into spirit. Speak to your spirit guides, your angels, and call upon them. Don't expect them to start doing all kinds of dances and making things move around and you want to see images and all the rest of it, which is what most people do when they come to spirituality. They've usually been taught to come to the mind of a gifted and experienced spiritual teacher who's seen all these things, who's experienced all these things. I happen to like the teachers that tell the story about how frustrated they got when they didn't see it, because that was me in the beginning. I remember being taught by spiritual teachers that saw all these things, that had all these amazing spiritual experiences, and I wasn't having any of them. So I kept thinking, they're either full of it. And then I started little by little, bit by bit, piece by piece, a little voice, then a little message. And then like yesterday, I'm thinking, wouldn't it be nice if Master Jesus came this week? Well, hello, this was the card that came up. And here he is. Yes, it is nice. I'm here with you. These are the little things that then go, woo, okay. All right, my friends, that's it for me. I've taken enough of your time today. I love you. Thanks so much for liking, subscribing, doing all that you do. Bye for now.